Hi there, it's great to see you. Thanks for stopping by today. I really appreciate it. I'm John Merriman, and this is your Tuesday morning guitar song. If you're ever sitting down listening to a male country artist who's standing behind a microphone, playing guitar, singing, and wearing a cowboy hat, that guy is standing in the shadow of George Strait, guaranteed. George brought the cowboy back into country music after country music drifted far and wide into a soft pop sound back in the 1970s and early 1980s. George is now considered the king of country music, and he's also considered one of the most influential and successful recording artists of all times. Now, as you noticed, I did not say country recording artist, I simply said recording artists of any style. George is number 3 behind Elvis and the Beatles for having the most gold and platinum albums. He is certified the 12th largest selling artist of all time in the history of music. He holds the record. He is number 1 for having the most number 1 and top 5 hits of all time in the history of music. And he is also the only artist in history to have a song in the top 10 every year for the last 30 years. Those are incredible statistics. George is soft-spoken. He's quiet. He's a real Texas cowboy with a crooked smile and a glint in his eye. He's totally unassuming. He's just what he appears to be. There's nothing there that you don't see. He has cowboy boots, he's stacked jeans, he's overstarched button-up shirts, and a cowboy hat. That's George Strait. And he's the greatest storyteller ever in the history of country music. George Strait was born in 1952. He was raised in a small town in south central Texas by the name of Pearsall. That's where he went to school. He was raised by his father, who was a junior high math teacher and also owned a 2,000-acre cattle ranch. Now, I come from the Great Plains, and I know those underpaid teachers back then often had to have many things going just to survive. And on that cattle ranch, that's where George worked on his weekends and his summers until he graduated from high school in Pearsall. Well, soon after graduating, he eloped with his high school sweetheart, and then right away he enlisted in the United States Army. He was stationed in Hawaii, and back then, if you were stationed in Hawaii and you were in the U.S. infantry, you were just awaiting orders to be shipped out to Vietnam. Well, as George tells it, while in Hawaii, he wanted to learn how to play a guitar, so he bought himself an old guitar, he taught himself, and he started singing country songs. He soon was singing with a sponsored Air Force country band in Hawaii, and those orders for Vietnam, well, they never came. So he was released from the Army in 1975. He headed back to Texas, and he enrolled with the GI Bill into Southwest Texas State University, and he majored in agriculture. While he was in college, he answered a flyer for a local music band called the Ace in the Hole Band. They needed a singer, and he went to audition, and he got the job, and he started singing with them. Now that band, the Ace in the Hole Band, has been with him the whole way through his career and still with him today as his backup band. Well, back then, they were pretty big stuff. They were a regional band, and they were knocking around central and south central Texas, and George was going to school. And they had some dreams of making it big in the music industry, so they headed to Nashville once, and they auditioned there in Nashville, and they were turned down by just about every company there in Nashville. And they returned to South Central Texas, and George was pretty discouraged. He said he was quitting music. He told the band he was going to quit. He had since graduated from college, and he was now the ranch manager of the cattle ranch. And he was planning on taking a job that was offered to him, a job designing cattle pens. So that would be kind of a day job, and then he would also have the ranch that he would be managing. Well, so many times we have seen in this show where at the last moment fate intervenes and MCA Records changed their mind, and they offered George a one-record deal. If he could do good on this one record, he could have a second chance. Now, that was not a one album deal. That was a one single deal, one song. If he could have a good one song, he could do a second song. Well, he got the Ace in the Hole band to back him up, and in 1981, they released the song Unwound. It went to number 7 on the country charts. That's a hit. And he gained himself another day at bat. Well, that was the start, and I guess the wolf was at the door and made such a big impression on him that he just kept working, and he just never stopped, and he became one of the greatest country superstars. Now, in the beginning, George was called the honky-tonk Sinatra. He was a good-looking young Texas guy, and he matured into a wonderful Texas gentleman. George Strait's life has never been touched with a bit of controversy. He is still married to his high school sweetheart. He's never discussed politics in public. He is fair, he is kind, and he is more than charitable in all his dealings. If there is such a thing as living by the good cowboy code, well, George Strait has nailed it. And today, George Strait is the topic of your Tuesday morning fun fact. Here's your Tuesday morning fun fact. George Strait, a long career as a recording artist, a cattle rancher, and during part of his career, George Strait was also a professional athlete. His sport was American rodeo. George Strait is a member of the PRCA, the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association, and George used to compete in the team roping competition. That's one of the 6 or 7 events that take place in an American rodeo. So it was not uncommon for George Strait to appear on stage and sing before the rodeo. He would compete in the rodeo, and then he would sit back and watch his son, Bubba, who is also a pro rodeo rider, compete in the rodeo. There is no accusing George Strait of being an all-hat and no-horse cowboy. He is the real deal. And there is your Tuesday morning fun fact. Let's go back for our Tuesday morning guitar song to 1983, one of George Strait's big early hits. Please don't go away. I'll be right back. Thanks for stopping by and spending time with me today. It's been great to see you, and I've just had a great time. Please, if you got a second, like the show or like the page on Facebook. If you have another second, share the show on your social media or send it to a George Strait fan you know. You are my word of mouth, and I really appreciate all you do. Thank you so much. Hey, come back and see me next week. And remember, you're never ready for your day without a song in your heart. Bye now.